Now that the Modern Warfare 2 beta has wrapped up and I've had the opportunity to use, play, and just experience everything that the beta had to offer, from maps to game modes and guns, I can finally give you guys my full and honest review of Modern Warfare 2 and if you guys should spend your money on this game. Quickly, I'd like to note that I'm currently recording this video at midnight. I was just reflecting on my personal experience of Modern Warfare 2 and how the content went, and it was amazing, man. And I want you guys to know that I truly do appreciate all of the love and support that you all showed me throughout the entire beta. It was awesome, and it really kept my spirits up. Now, the Modern Warfare 2 content is going to continue in full force and even stronger when the game releases on October 28th. Anyways, I got two lists. I got one of all the pros, the positive things about Modern Warfare 2, and the second list are all the cons, the negative things of Modern Warfare 2. Now, I don't want to start off being negative, so we're going to start with the pros. First, my favorite thing, the thing I felt the most passionate about in Modern Warfare 2, Ground War. Now, Ground War was originally in Modern Warfare 2019. I had a lot of fun playing it. It was one of my favorite things about the entire game. Same thing goes for Modern Warfare 2. The maps, I think one of them I was a little iffy on, wasn't the biggest fan of, but the other two were good. The maps are big, there's a lot of action. It's literally 32 versus 32. I just love the field. There's tanks, helicopters, we got the ATVs, the buggies, there's so much transportation. A lot of action, so much going on, a lot of fun. I think they nailed it on the head with the Ground War, and I can't wait to see what the other maps are, but one of my all-time favorite experiences was Ground War. Now, adding on to the maps, not only did Ground War have pretty good maps, I think overall the 6v6 maps had fantastic design to them. I really liked Mercado, Farm. I think those were like my two favorites. It was just, again, very action-packed. I like how the middle of the map was just, there's always something going on in the middle of the map, so if you couldn't find anyone, you go there. I mean, you'll find some enemies. Hotel, I wasn't too big of a fan of, but anytime I played it, it was always a good time. I always thought that Farm and Mercado played a lot better. And then the fourth map that I was thinking of was Museum. And Museum wasn't even a bad map. It's just there wasn't enough players on it. So I think in a game mode such as like 10v10, Museum will play perfectly. There's nothing wrong with the map. It just wasn't a lot of players on it. And that makes me feel really good about the future, because I'm pretty sure Modern Warfare 2 is going to be launching with like 16 maps, and the 4 beta maps were pretty good. So if that's just a sneak peek of what we should expect with the rest of the maps, I'm okay with that. And I'm pretty sure we're going to be seeing like Terminal, High Rise, we'll see Shipment. Maps like that will be brought back, which makes it even better. Now, moving away from the Modern Warfare 2 maps, I think something else they did a fantastic job on is the gunplay. Realistically, you could throw on any weapon from the beta and find success and do very well using it. Obviously, you had the hard meta, the M4, the MP5, aka the Lockman sub, and then you were able to use battle rifles like the F-TAC Recon, which is like a single fire M4. That thing was super dominant. You get some attachments, you're good to go. You had the Fennec and the AK-74U, which there was no attachments to be put onto them, and they were some of the strongest weapons in the entire game. So I just really like how you could use any weapon you want and you can find success. And that just makes me really excited for the launch of Modern Warfare 2, because the weapons in the beta is not even half of the weapons that we're going to be seeing at launch. So it's going to be nice being able to use whatever you want. I'm not going to have to always go back to using a meta weapon every single day. I'm able to use and grind one weapon and actually enjoy doing it. So I think it's gonna, again, it's gonna make me feel a lot more entertained. I'm not gonna get so bored right away. And that, alongside with the map, and just having the freedom to play with different weapons and not get upset because the weapon sucks, it's just a massive W. Now, adding on to the Modern Warfare 2 weapons, I really liked the Gunsmith. And I think a lot of you guys were kind of misinterpreting how it worked, because a lot of my comments on like my M4 class setup, my MP5 classes, you guys are like, how do I unlock these attachments? I have no idea. So this is how to better understand it. So basically, here's the M4, it's the base weapon, and then these other weapons attached to the branches are the other weapons you need to rank up in order to get the attachments for the M4. So after you reach max level with the M4, you gotta move on to that LMG, the Icarus, or whatever it was called. Level that up, then you're gonna unlock some attachments for the M4. Move on to the next weapon, you got the M16 up there. You use that, you're gonna get more attachments unlocked for the M4. So it kind of forces you to use different weapons, a variety of weapons, and who knows, you might find a new weapon that you never knew you were gonna end up liking because of this new progression system and the new Gunsmith system. So it helps rank up your guns very quickly. And it's not super tedious and grindy like Vanguard was, where each weapon was like 70 levels. It was a whole mess. So I think once you guys better understand the new Gunsmith system, you're gonna learn to love it because of just how much more simple it is compared to the old Gunsmith system we had. Now this kind of does tie in with the Gunsmith, but I really enjoyed the leveling system. So I felt like it was really easy to rank up your guns. I mean, I remember when I was ranking up my M4, I played maybe 2 games and the thing was already maxed out. I was able to move on to the next weapon, and it just made it a lot more convenient, especially for those of you who may be more of a casual player. You know, if you don't have that much time to play, if you're able to find like 15, 20 minutes to get like a game or 2 in, boom, you can knock out a weapon and have that max level. Next day, next few days, you're able to use something different and you're not stuck on the same M4. So I think it just makes it a lot easier for the casual player to rank up these weapons and experience the rest of them. Now I'm gonna quickly rapid fire off the last few pros I have because I don't really need to speak too much in depth about them. One of them is the graphics. I think the game looked very, very beautiful no matter what you were playing on. I played on a PS5 the prior weekend. It looked great. I think that museum map had some really, really good colors to it. The reds, the whites, the blues. I think the game just aesthetically looks really, really pleasing, and it looks a lot better than whatever Vanguard had going on for it. The third-person game mode is another thing I want to touch on. I did talk about it in last week's vid, and I was like, it wasn't really for me. I actually played it quite a bit more the following weekend. Y'all might see some third person for me a lot more. That was a lot of fun, and I'm really happy that it's just an option to have because it'd be really nice to do maybe a first person video with a new weapon, and then I could do a third person video where I'm using a new skin that came out, and now you could see the skin in game because of the third person mode. So it actually makes buying skins and using different skins worth it because you could actually see it in some of the gameplay now. I also think the perk balance was perfectly executed. There is a plethora of perks to choose from, and there's no such thing as the right or wrong perks to use. There's just so many great combinations that you could choose from, and I mean, again, it just leaves for a bunch of different opportunity to create some pretty crazy loadouts. And lastly, swimming. I'm really glad swimming's back in the game. We haven't seen it since like BO4, and in BO4 they perfectly incorporated it in some of the maps. Some of the key spots that fights would happen in, you were underwater. So I can't wait to see how they incorporate the swimming in some of the other multiplayer maps and just how that plays out. And now we move on to the cons, the negatives of Modern Warfare 2. First, the no-brainer, the elephant in the room, the classic mini-map. So some of you may have not noticed it, but anytime someone shoots an unsuppressed weapon, it doesn't pop up on the radar unless there's a UAV up. The classic mini-map would show a red dot on the map when someone shoots their weapon. So now that it's no longer like that, you really need a UAV for your radar to properly work, which I'm not a big fan of because it makes the game play a lot slower. So usually when someone just shoots you, like, okay, there's a guy right here, I'm gonna go over there and go get him. Well, you kind of just gotta hope you have a decent headset to hear where the guy's at and then go find where you heard the footsteps. So it slows the game down quite a bit, and honestly, the reasoning behind it to protect players from not being hunted down is kind of whack because these casual players, they're not even going to notice. I mean, it's the people who play maybe once a week or something, and those of you out there probably didn't even notice it was a thing, but someone like me who plays the game damn near every single day kind of affects the way that the games go because I don't know where anyone's at. I'm just walking around like a headless chicken. I gotta sit here all day and talk about it. We got to move on. Next is map voting. There's no map voting, which I really, really hate. So the second I get into a lobby, before you'd have it where you can kind of vote for the map you want to play on. Do you want to play on Mercado or do you want to play on Farm? It just gives you a map. You have no opportunity to vote. So it's either you love the map or you hate it. You back out, find a new game. Something else that frustrated me so much in this beta was the lack of mobility on the weapon. So I feel like it struggled with ADS, sprint to fire, and strafe speeds. It makes the gameplay overall just feel so much slower. And you could build your weapons to have that strafe speed and ADS and sprint to fire. It's one, not gonna be that good, and two, you're sacrificing recoil control power, so your weapon's just gonna be a pea shooter with this decent movement on it. So I think they really need to work on having the attachments just speed up the game a little bit more. I really dislike the slow ADS and sprint to fire times. I'm a huge lover of the very quick strafing speed. I love it so much, and there's none of it in this game. And I pray that they listen and please fix it, because I really, really love those quick, fun builds where you're able to fly across the map. It feels good, and it rewards rushers for building their setup like that, and they just don't have that for any of the weapons in the game from what I've noticed. Now, for those of you who played the beta, let me know. Did you guys shoot your teammates a little too much by accident? If that's the case, it's because there's no nameplates. They need to add them so you can distinguish what's an enemy and what is a teammate. And what are we doing reinventing the wheel, trying to find a different way to distinguish an enemy? The nameplates have worked. Let's keep it rolling, all right? Little red tag that shows their name or whatever, maybe a health bar or something, it's an enemy. Little green, blue, whatever name tag above the teammate, it's a teammate. It's like, we need to get this fixed. I genuinely don't know why they don't have any nameplates. Sometimes you're trying to shoot someone across the map and you're like, oh, is that a... Oh, I'm gonna take my shot. Now, I don't want this to sound super bad, but I felt like I was losing some gunfights that I shouldn't have been losing. What I mean by that is I'm shooting an enemy first, but somehow I'm the one who's dead. That didn't make any sense to me. I just had some really weird, inconsistent gunfights. I don't know if that was just me, where I'm shooting first, dying first. Maybe you guys felt the same way, but I feel like I haven't felt this way in a few years in Call of Duty. Cold War, I think, was perfect. You know, if I shoot first, I'm usually gonna get the kill. Same in Vanguard, Warzone. I mean, all those games completely fine. But in this game, a little too much am I finding myself dying when I really shouldn't be. But again, I don't want this to sound bad, but I think some of you can, you know, kind of agree with me if you played the beta. Now, not only were the gunfights inconsistent, but the spawns were as well. They didn't really make too much sense to me. I feel like when 2 to 3 of your teammates would die, they would just all spawn together, which didn't make sense. I feel like they should be spread out. It just causes the action to be paused for that split second, and it's just kind of a dead part in the game. Action, 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 action. That's just me. I think it should always just be action. And a lot of my complaints, it's just the game slowed down too much, from the attachments to the spawns. I think the spawns need a little bit of a rework. Again, a lot of them didn't make sense whatsoever, and it really did slow down the action. So hopefully they can rework the spawns and make them make a little bit more sense. I also think that the UI was an absolute mess. I think I covered this in my video from last week as well. The menu, the game modes that you could choose from, I don't like how it's all horizontal, going left to right. I think it should all be vertical, going up to down. I mean, I honestly don't know why. It was just, we had these big boxes where you had to scroll to the left or scroll to the right. Rework it a little too much. And this also applies to the gunsmith and the classes. Again, they were going horizontally left to right, vertically up and down, just like we normally had it. We don't got to reinvent the wheel. Just do what works. That's what worked. I get we're trying to be different, but the UI is not what we want to be different about. So revert back to how we usually have it, all in one place. We could see it all. We don't got to scroll to the bottom to see one thing and scroll back up to the top to see another. This kind of ties in with the loadouts. The flashes and stuns, OD, way too much. When you get flashed, you're stuck there for a while, and you genuinely have no idea if you're dead or alive. And same with the stun. You could literally get stunned by someone, kill them, they could spawn, come back, you're still stunned. Why are the stuns lasting that long? So this has always been an issue in the betas, where the stuns and flashes are a little too OP. Usually, most of the time, they'll rework them and make them, you know, balanced. I'm really hoping so they do that here, because if they don't, that's all people are going to use. That's all people are going to throw. It's not going to be made for a fun time. And then my final and last thing I have to add to this is last stand. Now, if you're watching this video and you use last stand, F you. F you. Seriously. And the reason why last stand is such a big issue in this game is, even if I down you and full you while you're in last stand, that kill does not count towards a kill streak of mine, my nuke, nothing. There's no incentive to completely take out someone using final stand, let alone it honestly just shouldn't even be back in the game. I know we're catering towards super casuals and whatnot, but this ain't it. We don't need it in the game. Completely remove it. Obviously, that's not going to happen. So please rework it where I'm actually getting my kill for taking down someone using that peasantry of a perk. and I'll be a little bit more happier. But if there's a full 6-man team using Last Stand, you're never gonna get another kill streak for the rest of the game. And it is a bonus perk, and that pretty much covers all of my love and hates about Modern Warfare 2. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. Again, I'll be more than happy to read some of your guys' long paragraphs. If you have anything else to go in depth with, or you want to create your own opinions, please go for it. Keep it civil. If you guys are brand new and you haven't subscribed yet, I mean, again, the Modern Warfare 2 content's gonna be crazy. Drop a like on the video for this super honest review from your boy. And I'll see you guys when I upload, man. You guys all stay safe. Have a great day, and I'm out. Peace.